What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today we are checking one off the bucket list again. This thing is incredible. We've got a Mercedes-Benz SL65 AMG Black Series today. Only 350 of these were made, and it is an absolute legend. Honestly, one of the coolest stock cars I've ever driven. It is just glorious, and it is courtesy of Thijs Timmermans. As you can see, the man, the myth, the legend has delivered again. He has kindly enough given us the car for today to have a drive, test it out and make a couple of videos with it. So big thanks to Thijs Timmermans. This car is for sale over there. Go check it out. It's not even that expensive, relatively speaking, since they only made 350 of these. So make sure you check it out. It is an absolute legend, this car. The Black Series, it is so wide, it is so powerful, it is angry, it is crazy. I'm going to show you around it, and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. Now, let's start with the elephant in the room, because they made this car so crazy. They took an SL, which is a convertible, only available as a convertible with a steel folding roof, and they made a coupe from it. You can see that this just has a fixed roof. That means that they got rid of the entire folding mechanism and everything that comes with that, saving 250 kilos compared to a regular SL. That is quite incredible. It also means that you have different rear windows because the roof line is lower. You have better structural rigidity, of course, and that weight saving. So only really benefits from that. So at the front we also have a completely revised front end. Only the grille, the lights and the doors are the same on a regular SL. Everything else is specially made for the Black Series. We've got a massive gaping mouth underneath here. This front bumper is so aggressive. It has DTM vibes, this car, it really does, with a carbon fiber splitter down there as well. Super nice. Carbon fiber bonnet. I'll show you the inside of that later on. And of course the immense flared arches. This is incredible. It is the widest of wide bodies. Look at the way this just goes in here with that air duct here to extract air from the wheel well. And then that V12 bi-turbo badge there, and the wide body at the rear. It is so crazy. Absolutely incredible. So why is it this wide? Because they widened the track. So 97 millimeter at the front, 85 millimeter at the rear, and this is like 14 centimeters wider than on a regular SL, which is just nuts. That is so sick. So what else did they do? Well, they ditched the air suspension. Of course, the air suspension on an SL, super nice, comfy for touring, super nice and comfy for your SL convertible, but not for your SL Black Series. This car, when Mercedes introduced it, they thought that 50% of their customers would be taking this car to the track. So the setup on this car is like an old school coil spring setup with regular dampers and regular struts instead of the active body control. So a much more track focused setup that is also manually adjustable for the ride height, the camber, the entire suspension setup. You can manually adjust for the track, which is quite cool. Behind that we've got regular steel brakes with 6-pot AMG brake calipers. Not the best. I mean, we've come a long way since. They do bite. The braking performance is there. It's just quite a long pedal, and it's not the most reassuring feeling because you feel like you're at the bottom quite soon. So we're going to experience what that's like on the Autobahn later on. We've got Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires around that, 19-inch at the front, 20s at the rear, and we've got a 265 tire here at the front. And at the rear we've got a 325, and these tires, yeah, look at that, it's so nice. At the rear they added this active wing, which just looks so insane with those big ass struts. It looks super cool. If you look in your mirror and you see that thing raising up, you feel like a boss. It's so cool. The Black Series badge, of course, very nice. And then we've got a carbon diffuser with a big tip on each side with a sort of a dual quad tip setup. The exhaust sounds really good actually. It's quite a deep sound. You do get some crackles and some big bangs sometimes. So let's check out the engine, the beating heart of the Dragon. Which, as I said, that's all carbon fiber. That looks crazy. And then in here we've got the 6-liter V12 bi-turbo engine, handcrafted by Uwe Gruber, which I think we came across that name before recently. So it is a one-man, one-engine principle, and they really spruced up this engine for the Black Series. So it's got 670 horsepower and 1000 newton meters of torque, which is limited. So it has the 5-speed automatic gearbox, which can take up to 1000 newton meters. The SL63 of this generation already had the 7-speed, but it couldn't take this amount of power. But still, for this gearbox, they had to limit it to 1000 newton meters because it was easily putting out more than 1200 newton meters when they were done with it. It has bigger turbos, a freer air intake and a freer flowing exhaust, and they fiddled around with the electronics a bit, and then you have 670, 1000 newton meters. It is so powerful. For a factory car, it is outrageous on this car. It weighs 1870 kilos, so it's not really that light for like a sports car, but still this thing moves. It really does. So let's check out the interior, because it's not that special. I love that. It's just, you have a couple touches here and there, but most of the interior is like SL. You do get this carbon fiber down here, this AMG Black Series badge, start stop button there, and a rear seat delete with a fire extinguisher there and some storage in there. And then you get these bucket seats, these carbon fiber backed bucket seats. They are quite wide, the bucket seats. They're not really keeping me in place, but they do look amazing, and they are super cool. You also get these carbon fiber door inserts on the Black Series, which is very cool. Now, half of these went to the US, and they didn't get these seats and these door inserts because of safety regulations, airbag regulations, I think, which is a shame, because it definitely makes this interior more special. So let's start her up and listen to that glorious starter motor. Oh, it's like firing up some kind of industrial machine. It is so cool. We also get different dial faces, as you can see, V12 bi-turbo there on the rev counter, and we also have a speedo that goes to 360 kilometers an hour, but it is limited at 320. If you take off the limiter, it should be able to do 350 kilometers an hour, which is pretty dope. But this, it's such a special car. This only 350 made, and it is something that we will never see again. It is so special. Even back then it was crazy. I mean, it's even crazier now. So let's head out for a drive. So let's get that gearbox in drive. Oh, I just love a regular old gear lever. That feels so nice. We've got a nice steering wheel as well, with aluminium pedals, and then we've got manual, comfort and sport for the gearbox. So if we hit manual, we have M1 and M2 there. M2 is 20% faster than M1, and so that's basically the fastest shift you're going to get. And we're going to hit ESP Sport, which is a very good system. It allows you to have a little bit of slip, but not too much. Oh, listen to that. That is just ridiculous. This thing sounds like nothing else. It's not really that involving. The sound is relatively monotonous, but it sounds so angry. Oh, it sounds so angry. It sounds industrial. It sounds like nothing else I've ever driven. It also, oh, it also feels like nothing else I've ever driven. It is insane, incredible. It is the craziest stock car I've ever driven, I think. It's so angry. That beep, by the way, is some kind of notification, speed warning. We can turn it off, so it's going to keep beeping, but no worries. Oh man, oh man, oh man. It is outrageous. The presence this car has, both when you drive it and when you walk around it, it just sucks in everything around it. It's so insane. You really also have to watch out, because let me turn off the traction control. So that's off, second gear, let it build, and then it just eats up those rear tires. You have to really be awake to drive this with the traction control off. I'm going to leave it in sport because I feel a little bit better that way. Oh, it's an angry dragon, this thing. It really is. Oh my god. It is so crazy. So, since they ditched the air suspension and the active body control and just put regular old struts and dampers and springs in, the setup is pretty good actually. They also fiddled around with the steering, elasto kinematics, to give it a quicker steering but also give it a bit more feel. It actually turns in really well. It is quite a heavy car, but it doesn't feel that bad. It does. It feels so powerful. It feels so torquey. That 1000 Newton meters is a lot, even if the car weighs almost 1900 kilos. So let's put the gearbox in sport. And there we go, full throttle. Listen to that. Listen how powerful this car sounds, and look at the way this thing accelerates and keeps accelerating. It just pulls so hard and it keeps pulling. It's like a freight train, but a freight train that accelerates very fast as well, because you have those relatively long gears. It just feels like it's never ending. Shift at 300. I don't know what that is, can't see it, but it has to be close to like the top speed. Oh, it's so stable. Oh my god, this thing is from like 2008. Oh, that is exhilarating. It really is. It sounds so powerful. That like that whoom sound is so cool. It might not be, you know, the most high-pitched sound, or you don't really hear that much. It's just a very deep, dark sound that just conveys power. It really does. Oh, that's third gear. My goodness. Oh, ho, ho. It actually, you do feel those bumps in the road, but it kind of deals with them and moves on. It's not like super absorbent, but it doesn't upset the car at all. It just deals with it. Oh man, the way this thing goes in fourth gear. So brakes until now actually okay. I'm not sure why they didn't go for ceramics. I think they did have them back then, but I think since they thought that a lot of people were going to use this on track, I think steel brakes might have been a better option back in the day for track driving, for a lot of track driving. .8 seconds to 100 if you have a lot of grip. Which means around 7 seconds, 100 to 200. God, I love this car. I really, really do. They don't make them like this anymore. Oh, just the craziness and the fact that they just, okay, they said, what do we need to be able to cope with this amount of power? Well, we need to widen the track, front and rear. Okay, so we'll put a wider track in an SL. Yeah, but then the tires stick out like 14 centimeters on either side. And I'm like, okay, so we'll put a wide body on it. It's so cool. It's just, I don't know, it just feels like they did such cool things back then. This thing just catapulted into my top 10 cars I've driven ever, and I was hoping that it would. I was hoping that we would be able to drive it one day because it's so cool and so rare, but I just hoped that it would live up to my expectation, and it does. This is one hero you can actually meet. Because look at it go! The gearbox is not the quickest, but it doesn't matter. We also recently drove an S65, a bit more modern version, with basically the same engine, and it felt so filtered in that car. It's amazing and it sounds good, and you still have that torque pull and that oomph, but in this it feels like a nuclear power plant in here. This is Oppenheimer's AMG Trinity on wheels. Yes, I went to see Oppenheimer last night. It was amazing, and this thing, it reminds me of a nuclear weapon. It really does. So if you compare this to our 599, for instance, our Ferrari 599, how does it compare? It's around the same time, around the same power. Well, this has a bit more power, of course, but V12, this thing is so far ahead. It really feels like a much more capable car. That's 300. Do a flyby at the bridge. Our night should be there. So this should be close to the top speed. It's still pulling. I'm going to let off because we have a corner here and a couple of cars, but holy moly, it was still pulling. Oh, this car is so cool. I love this thing so much. Wow, 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 what a beast. It's the combination of that basically smooth running V12, but it just puts out so much power so effortlessly. Oh, that will get the juice is flowing. Oh my god, man, what a car. What an absolute beast of a car. Thijs, thank you so much for letting us have a drive in this Black Series. It is a gem. It is a collectible and it should be much more expensive. I don't know why these prices are sort of stable. They're not as high as an SLS Black Series, for instance. This thing is incredible. Someone, if you're watching and you've got the cash lying around, or you've got something else you'd like to switch for this, please do, because it is a living legend, this thing, and it is a car to experience. Oh, if Thijs didn't need to sell this thing, I would be smoking up those rear tires, doing like big ass slides, but I can't. I have to restrain myself. But it feels incredible. It feels healthy. It feels amazing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We love to give you guys these gems, these like incredible cars, these bucket list cars. They need to be driven. They need to be recorded for history. I hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can also check out this video, this playlist. I'll see you at the next one. Bye.